Yeah, what we wanted to do, and we're still in the process of fine-tuning and streamlining the our setup, because there is so much gear. But going into it, I think it was important for both of us to feel comfortable being on stage, to allow both of us to have our full setups and kind of have all that go into like a third mixer that we share. So if I need to have complete control over not only my setup but Rich's setup, I can walk over to that third mixer and cut him out or filter him out if I wanted to do that, if I felt like musically that was going to be appropriate at any given time. And the same for Rich, to have that freedom of doing that. But when we go back into our corner, I think we wanted to make sure that we feel comfortable having the same setup that we use every week on all the gigs that we do. So that's why the setup right now encompasses his full setup and my full setup, all being routed through a third mixer. And we found when we did the Exit Festival set that kind of worked really well. But now what we're trying to do is, since we were so far away from one another, there was so much gear in between us, what we're trying to do is find ways to bring us closer together in proximity, so that we could kind of communicate much easier with facial expressions or a nod or a wink, and hand gestures and stuff. So that's what we're working towards, and I think we're one step closer with the Japan Click to Click date. I mean, I can't really speak for Rich, but I think my love affair of Japan and Japanese people and that whole environment has to do with not only the culture but the club scene. As far as clubs go, some of the best designed sound systems and lighting rigs, and this is the most important component, the crowds. Some of the best crowds I've ever played for, in the best environments that I've played for, have always been in Japan. And so over the years, I think I first came to Japan in 1998 with Shirama's Deep Dish, and ever since the first club that we played at, and I don't remember the name now, but I was hooked. I looked forward to coming as often as I could, and sometimes there were 1 or 2 year gaps in between my visits, but the last couple of years, also playing Womb on a regular basis and being able to play open to close and control the music the way I always sort of grew up doing when I had like a weekly residency in DC. It was important to have an audience that was willing to come early, to kind of go along for the ride from the very beginning to the end, and to have that kind of trust from the Japanese audience, and to have the kind of feedback and enthusiasm for what I was trying to do in my DJ sets musically, made me feel as an artist. It just gave me a lot of, I felt really truly at home and content as an artist and as a DJ and as a musician when I was playing in Japanese clubs, especially the clubs in Tokyo. So on the one hand, you have, the club scene. That was a huge attraction for me and a big draw for me wanting to make the effort to come every year. But there's also the Japanese culture. It's a beautiful, ancient culture. And, it just makes you feel humbled, being there. I just feel really, really comfortable and happy whenever I'm in Japan, and I could, I've said this before to many friends over the years there, I could definitely see myself living there one day. And then of course, as part of the culture, there's the food and the sake, both of which Rich and I share a deep love of, and we've just grown to appreciate it, in our travels, and we've seen Japanese food and culture really take hold in America and elsewhere. And whenever we have the opportunity to come to Japan and experience it firsthand, it just makes us feel really happy and proud that we have the opportunities to be able to travel there, such great distance to embrace the culture and the nightlife.